Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Drive Marketing. Corey and I are sitting this evening with Philip and Lad Landgraf from Madill, Oklahoma, owners and operators of Landgraf Cattle Company. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing good tonight.
We're good. How are you guys?
Hey, we're good. We're good. We're honestly just thankful you guys chose to use Drive Marketing to tell the world about your upcoming SC online sales, the first ever Landgraf Cattle Company platinum label production sale. So it's got to be an exciting time for you two, knowing that a junior lifetime in the purebred business has now turned into a production sale. So tell us a little bit about how we got here. Tell us about the thought process behind having this first production sale.
Well, our thought process on having the sale was that we really needed to market our cattle and start growing our name on our own a little bit instead of just consignment-based stuff that we had done in the past. And we came to SC Online just because it's a really convenient and really helpful option. Grew up showing with my sales rep, Clint, worked for Gerald when I was a kid growing up. So already had that contact and knew I could trust him and knew it'd go off without a hitch.
Good. Yeah, that's good. And so, and you hit on that growing up and showing and growing up with your SC rep and things, and heard a little something about in years past. You guys have had some consignment stuff, and knowing you and knowing your dad pretty much my whole life, and for sure your whole life, you've had quite a bit of success up to this point through those consignment sales with cattle you've raised going on and doing some winning and things. Tell us about some of that.
Absolutely. We have sold through Gerald's premier sale for quite a few years now, and we've had quite a bit of success buying and selling through that sale. Most all of these dams, unless we have raised them, have come through that sale. As well as quite a few of these things' daughters and full sibs to these show heifers going through that sale. A maternal sister, no, it'd be a daughter out of the 103 Y cow, the grand dam of the lot 3. She sold to Taylor Dorsey of Eaton, Colorado, and we went on to win the Colorado State Fair with that female. Very proud to be there. And the 103Y before that, we had hung banners in Denver, Fort Worth, Louisville, and ultimately the OYE Supreme female back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had quite a bit.
That was one of the very first unlimited power donors or actually one of the very first calf crops of the unlimited power. Do you remember her, Corey, the crop-eared heifer that year that Lad showed?
That was one of the all-time greats in the breed, for sure. Yeah, and Lad has just been a guy that I've watched up. The 20-some years I've been involved with the main breed. Just watched him show. Every year it seems like he brought something better, and then that cow there came along, and it's like, whoa, we're in it to win it now. She was just had them short ears, but boy, she pulled it off. She was.
And really,
absolutely.
Before that crop year, when we weren't really more of a production oriented deal, we wanted to sell a few here and there through Gerald's sale if we could, but getting that taste of success with that 103Y really kind of got my blood flowing and made me want to do more of it. And so she's kind of really, we started long before her, but she's kind of the turning point in the whole deal was we realized what we could actually do with them.
Right. Yeah. Hey, so Philip, I don't know that I can dig it out of you, but I'm sure going to give it a whirl. Tell us a little bit about your background real quick. You and your wife, Kathy, from right there in Madill. Tell us a little bit about Landgraf Cattle Company. I don't really think early on in your relationship with your wife, Cattle Company was even a factor there. So give us a little insight of how this adventure ever started.
So we both were raised on
on the ranch or farm with cattle. We both have a pretty in-depth background in the cattle deal. But when we married, Kathy's family showed cattle, and when we married, she said, if we ever have kids, we just won't have anything to do with the livestock shows because, man, that's just it's just too political, And Gerald Buck come in. She does custom embroidery. He come in to get some jackets embroidered, and Kathy said, "What about Lad showing calves?" And Gerald said, "Well, boy, we got a sale coming up. We can fix him right up." And from there on, that was kind of the turning point. Lad has absolutely enjoyed it. I would not go back on anything we've done, but that was the beginning of where we're at. And now we've gone to every major for years now, and all we're doing is supporting Lad on this deal because this whole drive on these cattle and everything is all his deal. It's all his selection as to the way they were mated and all of that. I try to make sure that the cows are taken care of, but I pretty much turn all the breeding stuff over to Lad and let him make the decisions that way. I take care of the cows and try to keep that part of it going, but it's Lad's. This is Lad's little deal right here.
Right. Good. And Corey visited or hit on it a minute ago that with your guys' involvement, you were pretty much lifetime Maine Anjou supporters in terms of your junior career, Lad. I know you showed some keys and you had some other interests there, some Charolais later on in your time and whatnot. But, we talk about somebody growing up in the business and not knowing a single thing until he was about 9 or 10. And I'm going to brag on him for just a second. We do a herdsman's deal each summer with the Maine Association that's gotten pretty competitive. And I don't know for sure, but I think the herdsman of the year, what year was it, Lad? He was selected by the herdsman of the year, adult herdsman of the year, as junior herdsman of the year. And it was based upon his work ethic in the show barn and with set of clippers. And he went from somebody that you never noticed to somebody that every one of us wished, and I was very thankful for, was on our crew because he's incredible talent with set of clippers and fitted. So what year was it, Lad, that you were junior herdsman of the year?
It was 18 or 19. I think it was 18. It was in Grand Island.
Mm-hmm. Did any of that fuel this sale? Did any of that fuel you wanting to become a breeder, wanting to, obviously you're going to try to sell some open heifer calves. Is that something you have in the back of your mind that you want to offer that custom fitting and service to those people?
Absolutely. Kind of my deal is whenever someone buys a calf with me, I really like to be able to help them with everything from feed advice to hair care to fitting and clipping the animal for their shows when they're coming. All I got to have is a heads up, and depending on where you live, time frame and all that. But yeah, I do everything from help the families that I'm following right now with their showmanship skills to helping them get ready for junior nationals in the hot summer months when it's not real easy to grow hair down here. I help them with their feed advice. I make farm calls to go check on the animals. And it's kind of a thing, like if those kids see me doing it, I hope those kids will understand how much it takes to make it work the right way. And so I'm trying to instill that in those kids, that starting from right the first time, they don't have to learn anything different. That's just how they know to do it.
That's something he just hit on just a tick, Brett. He was also selected as a senior showman at one of the junior nationals. At two of them, yeah. And that's a pretty major accomplishment. To be of that quality of a showman in that competitive a world in the showmanship part of it. And he works with the kids quite a lot here around home and helps them with their showmanship quite a lot.
Right. Yep, you bet. And I think just listening to you talk here, I just get the vibe, Corey, that they were new at one time, and we all were new at one time. And I think that outside of this platform, I visited with Philip and Ladd, and me and you visited about this too. A lot of people think that people like myself or Corey or whoever you want to talk about, Gerald Buck, they've mentioned on here a few times. Gerald was a beginner at some point too. And I think that the visiting with Philip and Ladd, they know that there's people out there just like them that haven't been raised in the show cattle world, and Ladd's passion to help that young generation, I think, is what he's wanting to get out there right now, that you can do what I'm doing. Come here, buy something from me, and let me help you get to where I'm at today. I don't know about you, but that's kind of the vibe I'm catching, Corey.
You bet. You bet. I tell you, like I said earlier, I watched, Ladd's show career as he grew up and stuff. And, the biggest thing I noticed, he was showing with Gerald and that crew. And then when he got on that board of directors, and so many kids I've seen over my lifetime, you get on that board of directors and it's just like you shift gears, and all of a sudden, Gerald, he didn't go to Louisville. I remember specifically one year there where he didn't go to Louisville. Well, Ladd loads his trailer up and he just heads to Louisville by himself. And I mean, after that year, just from afar, I could see, hey, this kid, he wants to take it to the next level. And now we're coming in turn here into this sale here now, the first annual production sale, I guess, if you would. So it's just fun for me, being a managed you enthusiast, to watch this kid come from, Gerald kind of helping him along, the early years. And then all of a sudden he just hooks the trailer up and does it himself, and now to a production sale. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I tell you, Ladd, I know for a fact, looks up to Gerald and is appreciative of those early years. But I can promise you one thing, Corey. Gerald Buck could give anything to have a hairdo like Ladd's got.
I guarantee
you. Gerald is jealous of that. And he can say what he wants to, but if he could grow hair like Ladd, he'd sure enough trade him a handful of customers for something like that. But no, all jokes aside, hey Corey, let's talk about these things. The cattle are really good, and drive right into them.
Yeah, we're going to start off here with we're going to start talking about this lot 1 female out of the legendary Maternal Maid, and she goes back to the CMCC 2034Z donor. Done a great job in Landgraf's herd there.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing's mother is an X59 on a commercial Angus, and that commercial Angus comes from Craig Moore, which, if you're acquainted with the Moore program, some of the best cows standing in my cow herd right now have blue tags from Craig. So anytime we get to flush a CMCC cow, we're all over it. We know they'll work. We mated this female this way and did it with a conventional flush, and ended up with like 14 eggs planted out of her, which is why I think there's 3 in this sale. And then I've got another 2 sitting out in the replacement pen to keep. And then there's been 2 that have already sold, 1 to Arizona and 1 here in Oklahoma, that are all siblings. And honestly, every one of them is good, and every one of them is built way, way, way different. Everything from their structural integrity to their foot size is extremely similar. They're all very big made, very robust females. This one happens to be the most feminine, which always catches my eye more so in the ring or in the pens. Lot 2 is a full sister to her. She's a big brood cow, sound, super huge belly, just like her mother was. Lot 6 is built a lot like, or Lot 5 is built a lot like this one, except she's just a tick stouter built, a little more masculine in her front end instead of the ultra feminine look that I really go for.
Gotcha.
This one will register as a maintainer and a low key, so she'll get to show twice at junior nationals this summer.
Mhm.
I'm really excited about this female.
You've
Right.
got her entered into Congress.
Yeah,
to take to Congress this year.
Yeah, she should be at Congress also.
Gotcha. Yeah, those X59 females, I can tell you just from our relationship and where we purchased some cattle and whatnot. Boy, those things are so productive. And as Corey said, the popular maternal maid there on the top side. I mean, there's a female right there that genetically pretty much opens herself up to about any of the popular sires going down the road today in terms of the Garth derivatives. Here's a female right here you can just about take wherever you want to.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, a lot of our herd is built like that. A lot of these pedigrees stem from things that I've seen over the years, showed over the years, gotten to watch walk through the ring, being on the junior board. I use that time to study them things as much as any, getting to tail things through the ring.
Right.
So that gave me a lot of a head start on knowing which ones I particularly liked. And so when I came home to breed things, I would always have a list of bulls. Well, I really liked all these females. Here's how they're bred. Here's how I'm going to try and redo it with my version. Just like the Cold Chills cow that you guys raised, Brett, we've got a full sister to her mother, and we've flushed her to end game in theory to try and recreate something similar.
There you go.
And we've been doing that for a while with these things.
Well, good deal.
Yeah. Hey, we'll move on here to lot 3. A Baldy female here. She's a peace of mind out of that Blue Memphis 105B cow.
Yeah, so this one's probably got as blue or purple a pedigree as we can put together here. Her grandmother won OYE, Fort Worth, Denver, all of that stuff for me. I went on and showed this one's mother as the first ever bred and owned I'd drug. Got along really well. Had some division champions and reserves with her in the bred and owned show. But that 103 cow is just incredible at making donor cows. That first generation after her makes some of the best donor cows that we've ever had. So this 103 or this 105B is one of them, and then the 008H bred heifer is out of a sister to this one's mother. That's a ambush on that 103Y cow, and we've got 3 or 4 different mating versions of that cow laying around that are all headed towards the donor pen if they're not already there. That being said, we put a lot of faith in the genetics behind this female. We were fortunate and bought a third of Peace of Mind back in Kansas City when he was still showing in the bred or the pair division, and we have been incredibly happy with those calves. We've got a ton of them sitting down here, and not all of them are marked up like this female. We've got some full black ones. We've got marked up ones too. But that bull is through and through as good an animal as we've come across in a long time. So it really wasn't a question on mating this female to him at all.
In Peace of Mind, was he a style out of Katy?
So he's that one's mother, Peace of Mind's dam is a style on a
Katie.
The Katie, yeah.
And Sarah Sullivan won as a cow calf pair about every show that
Oh, yeah.
That's Styles' greatest.
Yeah, Peace of Mind was the natural calf that Styles.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
He's a no worries out of that cow.
No worries out of Styles' greatest. Yep.
And
this heifer's mother, the Blue Memphis 105B, it shows here that she's a deep breath. What's the scoop there, lad? Talk about a little more in-depth pedigree there.
The scoop there is that deep breath was a bull that Gerald had come across, or I don't believe he raised him. I think he came across that bull. And when we first sent that cow off to flush and she came back, she was put with that bull.
Okay.
And that was her, that would have been that calf that came out of her.
I got you. And that bull is a maternal brother to the real popular in control bull of Boyert and Weingartner's.
Correct.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean, really, I wish I could get my hands on more of it, but
Right.
now that 103's passed too, so I can't create another 105B, but I'd be interested to see how it lines out on some other ones with how good she's been.
Right. You bet. You betcha. Yep. Two awfully nice feature lots there in the open division for sure.
And we're going to head to this, the bred heifer department, and talk a little bit about this lot 21 out of the super popular Bo Epic sire. She goes back again to that more raised 2023Z donor on the bottom side, and she sells Safe in Calf to Endurance, the Maker's Mark son that goes back to that 001 cow.
Yeah, so this one and the lot 1 females dams we purchased together out of the same sale. They're both the X59 on a commercial Angus from Craig. This one's mother is built a lot more like this female. Very main influenced, can pick up on the style lines of where the main's influenced her, not quite so on the Angusy side, and has a lot more bone and mass to her. We flush this female a lot. We flushed this female, this 2023 Z female, to the Downtown Bull that we bought from Brett a few years ago. We flushed her to him a lot and put probably 5 or 6 sibs in Gerald's sale in 3 or 4 years' time. That female probably produces more than about any other female on this ranch. This Epic heifer wasn't quite right for the show ring, but man, is she one of the prettiest breds we have standing out there. This has been a set on these breds, at least, that my parents have actually already begged me not to sell these before I ever pictured, posted, and all that. I mean, we didn't hold anything back. We really did. If it was good enough to go in, it went. There wasn't a hold it back. It wasn't any of that. And so I just really hope that it kind of resonates with people that they're good stock and we're willing to help. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, there's no doubt that they're good bred stock. And you talk about this bred heifer offering, this has got to be some of the very first offerings of those Epic bred females that I've seen anywhere. I know we've seen some, and there's been some hit and miss stuff of people that I know just from in terms of age. There just hasn't been a whole lot of them turned loose yet, and there's multiples in your sale here of these Epic daughters, but. No,
yeah.
Hey, heck of a good set. So let's talk just real quick. It's the end of the year. There's a couple of major shows right upon us here by less than a week's time. Guys that are fixing to try to buy some opens, or guys that's wanting to buy breads. What about trucking? Well, what's your plan there as far as getting them out of there or calving them out or whatever the case may be? What's your plan there?
Well, if somebody was from back up north or something, it wouldn't be any problem for us to get the cattle to Congress, meet them at Congress with the cattle or whatever. We could make that all happen. I think we're headed to Denver also, that, we could put a calf or two on a trailer going toward Denver and meet somebody even at Denver with them. But, we'll try to work with them any way in the world. Just don't let the trucking hold them back. We'll try to make it happen one way or the other.
Yeah, and here before long, we'll have to take Peace of Mind back up north to Nichols. So we'll be up around that area within the next 2 months or so, which would put us having them out, which is no issue if that's how it works out. But just another little direction we'll have to go at some point. So.
Gotcha. Well, good deal, guys. It's the Landgraf Cattle Company's first annual platinum label production sale to be held on SC. Philip and Ladd both hit at their rep is Clint Petzold. So I know Clint would be available to answer some questions. Ladd, you also Jake Patton's listed on here. Any questions, get a hold of those guys. The Landgraf Cattle Company Platinum Label Production Sale to be held on SC December the 29th. Guys, I can tell you, just knowing where you come from and can see what direction that you're headed, and you know, the unknown of stepping out there on the ledge and having that first sale. You guys have really loaded her up here heavy with some quality, and Ladd, I can see or I can hear in your voice that the anticipation of the new families and to get on the road and to help them see some success like you did in your early career. So, Philip, good job with Ladd. Ladd, good job with the cattle. And we're very thankful that you guys chose to use Drive Marketing. So thank you on that. And hey, if we can be any help to you, we will. And good luck with your sale coming up the 29th on SC.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
You
guys
bet.
with us.